Welcome and thank you for clicking on my video. Today we're going to be talking about some technical analysis because I believe we're going to have more madness, and I think it begins on Monday, and I think we might see more and more traps throughout this week, and then it might end up ending in some kind of squeeze to the upside for the SPY. So we're going to pay close attention to this as we do some technical analysis for the SPY cues, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, NVDA, AMD, and Meta, and also looking at GME and AMC just to see what's going on over there because those dailies are close to crossing. So pay close attention today as we get into these shorter time frames. If you want to see those daily swing trade signals we were talking about, look at Saturday, because if those confirm, then we should expect more upside. We see as of right now the SPY on the weekly expected moves here, 546.41 to the upside, and we do have 519.57 to the downside. Now for the daily expected moves, we do have 538.05 for Monday, and then we have 527.93 to the downside for Monday. Now, key thing about these, this is a 68% zone. This is what I calculate with the options data. If you want this for individual stocks, you can go to Patreon. The link is down in the description. $7 a month. It's very exciting to see so many people start to love these ranges like I do, because they are truly the best support, the best resistance you are going to see in the market. It is literally what the options market is expecting and not expecting, and 68% of the time we land in this zone. So 68% of the time we're supposed to land in this zone for Monday, and that's what we need to pay attention to. Talking about the bearish thing first for the SPY. The bearish thing here is, hey, this 2-hour cross is down. This 2 hours is still in a negative trend. If this is not a strong enough base, which I think it is a pretty strong base at this point, not really leaning towards this side, just to be clear. Not really seeing any rigged behavior up here that says a rug pull is coming, but I'm aware that if this 2-hour does cross over, we could be in the formation of making a stronger base. But if that does cross over, look at the environment we're in right now. If this were to cross over on this MACD, I want to treat that like, whoa, we could crash, because there's so many bad things happening out there. The economy's bad, inflation's still bad. We have bubbles everywhere. We have the housing market in trouble. We have the banking system in trouble. We have geopolitical things going on. We should treat any crossover here as very bad, but if that turns around, we go, oh, okay, now it's created a strong base, right? I really want my thinking to be like that, so I know how to react with these types of moves. That looks like the bearish scenario at this point. If you make a divergence, it could turn into a base. If not, we could be heading lower. Now, the 30-minute is what I am really leaning towards watching this week, looking at the daily and the weekly expected moves. I really like where this daily expected move is, because it's right by that monthly expected move downside. So this is going to be a strong level. If we're able to break through that, that's when I want to pay attention. But if this is able to kind of curl right back up, maybe pull back for a brief moment, that would be a good sign that we're actually going to head higher. Sorry about that hiccup. Higher. And how this would head higher over time with good structure is you pull back into this area, you come up to that weekly expected move, and then you're able to base out, giving yourself some left head and right. What is going on with me? Right shoulder. I think that would be good structure to head higher. Now, what did we talk about a lot of the time? This is the breakdown area. So this is where we are going to most likely test at some point. So if we are able to test that and we fail, that is when we will pay attention. But if that is able to test that and break through, that is a good sign that we're actually going to head higher. My belief is actually if we're able to firmly close above this, we might be already in some kind of short squeeze. But this would make sense for the timing of the week. Okay, we pull down for Monday, we see maybe a Tuesday, Wednesday of upside, maybe Thursday we actually start to drop off, and then we turn right back up, right? We drop off on Friday, and then we curl back up on Monday. I think this would make total sense with these weekly ranges. I don't want to read into that too much. I need to follow the signals throughout the week, so make sure to join me for the live video so we can tell you in real time what's happening, see if some kind of trap is being set up here, if some kind of trap is being set up down here. That's what we pay attention to live, and we try to notify you about that. And we really talk about these weekly ranges on Patreon to tell you what I'm looking at around those weekly ranges for a trade setup. Now we're looking at the Qs. We're seeing the similar thing, right? Dip down. Hey, we can dip down to that daily expected move, the bottom side being 443.98 to the downside, and we do have 456.84 to the upside. So this is still right by that monthly expected move. This is going to be pretty good support here with those. So if we're able to turn down, the fear really comes in again. People think, uh-oh, it's over. Everyone buys puts, and then we just turn right back around. Hey, we can get a reaction up to that weekly expected move, which happens to be 466.43 to the upside, and we have 434.39 to the downside. So this is is something that I think would be good here, kind of reload to turn up. It doesn't mean we have to. This is not overbought by any means. We could just see a gap up and start getting in this zone and consolidating. So that is something to pay attention to. I'm more leaning towards a small pullback early on in the week that leads to a turn up throughout the rest of the week, and then we'll see if that structure is able to pan out. This is what I'm more leaning towards at this time. But I know there's a 32% chance to see something crazy. So I know if this 2 hour starts to cross over, where are the Qs right now? Well, they're at the bottom of their channel. So this is where I have to pay attention. If something is curling over, that could break through this channel and be awful. But if below the weekly expected move, it creates some kind of divergence point here, then I can say, oh, okay, that doesn't look awful anymore. That looks like a pretty sturdy base. That's how I would treat it at this moment. So this is what I'm looking for, bullish and bearish cases, but you have to really be aware of it. We call it trading like water on this channel. We more so are just paying attention to the price action, paying attention to our signals, trying to figure out and move around those rocks in our stream and make a decision that leads us towards the meadow, not into the sewer. And that's what we try to do on this channel. As we go over and look at Apple, we see a lot of these that are just right by negative territory. So pretty much on all these, we're going to want to pay attention because you just got to look at it like this too. If it does this, it's closing below all of the moving averages. So this might cross and create a stronger base, but it might not. So that could be very bad. Now at this moment, I don't know if this is just going to go positive though, because we do have the RSI above the center line here for down there on the RSI, and the MACD is trying to do the same. So if on the 30-minute, maybe we could experience just a small pullback, that would be more of a bullish case, right? We can actually see some kind of small pullback. Maybe we see some of that trap behavior down here that we catch live a lot of the time. And then we just see that curl back up. We curl down for a pullback. We curl back up into positive territory. We can start to head up towards 225.84, maybe seeing a right shoulder up in that area. But I just want you to notice, we've been talking about the breakdown areas and how I've said multiple times, I think we're going to go test those at these lows. People were saying, where are you going to go? Well, you're probably going to test the breakdown area. What are you doing right now for Apple? You're testing the breakdown area. So if you reject firmly from here, you have to be aware of that and see if a stronger base is created. If it's not, you might be seeing downward price action. As of right now, I'm leaning more towards a 30-minute pullback that leads into more upside. As of right now, that can change very quickly on Monday, so make sure you tune in live. Thank you for liking and subscribing. You guys are always fantastic about that. Now for Tesla, this one actually had some great tapering. Okay, now you're getting that price real tight. We'll see what happens with this on Monday as it is finally going positive. Okay, we're really starting to go positive here. But this is what I wanted to look for. I see the 2 hour or the 30-minute divergence. I see that on the MACD. I see that on the RSI at the same time, and that can start to turn up 2 hour charts. So 2 hour chart down here, you had a small divergence on the RSI, nothing on the MACD. So I'm still aware if we get a reaction up to here, we could turn down to still make a stronger base. If this is behaving, which it is, a lot like a bear market with that volatility coming in, then a 2 hour base would make total sense. A lot of the time in bear markets, you need a 2 hour divergence to really curl up, see that momentum dying off, to curl up that daily chart, and that's what we're paying attention to as well. If you need to look at those daily charts, look at my previous video, but a 2 hour divergence would make sense here, so I'll pay attention to that. Not necessarily what I'm leaning towards. I think that base is pretty strong. I actually think a reaction up to this level, then curving back down, right? Break through a zone, reach back into it to gain those buyers, and then you're able to break through, and that's when we most likely will see that daily chart curl up. So that's what I'm paying attention to for Tesla. This is one that I'm currently in. I'm going to manage the trade very closely on Monday. Amazon, this one here was able to take back 166.12, one key area that we were paying attention to for a long time now. And on the 30-minute is the main signal. Obviously, 2 hour rotates down, bad. See if you make a stronger base. That's pretty much the theme of today's video on the 2 hour. But the 30-minute here, very interesting for Amazon, as you kind of did some sort of cupping and handling, but that was very elongated. So you built up some liquidity in here. And if that does just cross up on the 30-minute, that can be a good sign for positivity. You could actually get a gap up to see some positivity. We'll see. But for the most part, we want to take the indicator for what it's telling us right now. Right now on the MACD, it is saying you are in pullback mode, but you break through our key level 166.12, and then you retest it, and maybe that's enough to project you higher as you've built some liquidity in here for quite some time. So pay attention closely if this is crossing up early on in the week. We obviously have weekly expected moves for Amazon and all the other stocks we're talking about on Patreon. $7 a month to get those, and they are very, very freaking helpful. NVDA, This one is a little bit more worrisome for that 30-minute to take a dip down to lower prices to possibly give you a triple divergence. So I am paying attention to that. It's not looking the strongest. What do? Well, when you break through a zone, you retest it, and maybe you end up heading lower. And then when everyone's convinced it's bearish, then okay, that's when we actually know that this could be a stronger base if that's able to curl back up, create that triple divergence across that 30-minute chart. That would be a great sign. But I'm not necessarily leaning towards that, and I know that's crazy. This really looks like it's going to cross, but I'm not leaning towards that because the 2-hour does look good here. I can't not admit that this does not look good. This looks fantastic, and a lot of signals like this will start to curl up daily charts. So we'll just go over the daily chart for this real quick, and you'll just notice because AMD looks like it's about to cross up as well. Now we had kind of a wonky off bar, I would say, that couldn't get us through that 9. But if you just get one solid green day here, you're going to be testing the top of this channel, this downward channel you're in. If you break through that, you might be heading up towards 218. So how I think this would actually like to head higher is the 2-hour actually gains some steam. Maybe we do this, we consolidate for a brief moment, we head up to here towards that 119, 118 level, and then we actually get that full retest. I would expect volatility to remain in the market, and this would give you a huge left head and right shoulder. That would be a lot of steam right before earnings comes around the corner early in September. So that is what we are paying attention to at this moment for NVIDIA. Looking at AMD, this one has okay signals. It just looks so wonky that I don't like to trade it, and I just keep admitting that. The last time I thought it was a good trade setup was right here. Okay, right here. This one here was very, very obvious. You start to push higher after that. After this, though, it was pretty much like, man, this thing, after this divergence saying, hey, there's going to be some downside, it's just like, the signals are there and you can follow them, but are they the best for like taking a trade? I don't think so. But for AMD, you do have all these divergences down here that can turn up daily charts on the 2-hour. Okay, that can turn up daily charts. You see how close this is to crossing. You're about one good bar away from just seeing this thing actually cross up and give you the swing trade. Just note you are below the 200, so that can still be held as resistance. So if this crosses up, it's very negative. It will be a lot of work to get it back to positive. So breaking out of this might not be there just yet. We'll see. But if this swing trade turns up, then we would most likely think, hey, we're at least going to see some upside for a bit of time, maybe the top of our triangle. For Meta, this thing actually looking pretty good. Now, the cross up here with this red bar was when that MACD crossed up. That's something in the course you'll have to understand. Make sure to review that swing trading course multiple times. They're 90% off. The $100 course with the technical indicators and using the ranges, I believe that's the best one for this environment. But as swing trades are setting up, I get it. The swing trade course is down in the description as well. It's 90% off. So this bar right here is not necessarily what I like to see, and you notice that led to downside even though we crossed on this MACD. You have to pay attention to what's going on with the bar. The bar here is negative. It's almost negative 2%. This bar here is green above the 9. You're probably thinking that's the one. Well, that one's negative. That one's negative 2.54%. So even this bar right here was not good confirmation that there was momentum to the upside. It was actually your next one. This one right here towards that 494 price point, up 3.86%. That was when the swing trade was really signaled, and boom, you head to the upside. So for now, for Meta, this one here will be something I need some more price action on. I just want to be honest about that. I want to say it is positive and positive territory on the 2-hour. The daily has turned up, so positivity is what we should expect for now. But that can easily curl down at any point. See if that's a 2-hour pullback. Maybe the 30-minute is even going to experience more of a pullback before this breaks higher. But as you close at the top of the day, let's just pay attention in case there is some kind of gap up for Meta. We'll pay attention early on. Please ask me about Meta in my live video so I remember to keep looking at it, because that one looks interesting to see for Monday. As far as AMC and GME goes, the main thing I just want to talk about here, I know the shorter time frames, 30-minute, we'll just go through it briefly. 30-minute turning down, so right now we should expect negativity. If that turns back up, that would be a great thing. Now the 2-hour, a little bit of a different story, trying to go positive. So if that 30-minute is brief and then that turns up, that 2-hour can really actually see some strength going positive. That would be a good sign that we may curl up the daily chart. And this is the main thing to pay attention to with AMC. AMC and GME, and that is going to be the daily chart curling up. If this daily chart just is able to curl up like this, close above that 200, which we are never able to do, they always fight the stock once we try to close above the 200, that is going to be something different. If you can close here, if you can cross here, if you can cross here, all of these things would look good for AMC to head to the upside. We will give you that new updated level for a gamma squeeze during the live video tomorrow, so please ask about it. We always update this every single Sunday. It's just I'm trying to crank out this video, so I haven't done those ranges yet, but I'm going to do those and put those out on Patreon. If you want to get it earlier, it's on Patreon. If you want to get both sides, that's on Patreon. But as so many people are wondering when the gamma squeeze will happen, well, it's when you get through one of those 68% zones and you see a 32% chance of seeing something crazy. So that line last week was 576. We're going to update that for you in a bit, but that daily crossing up's a big deal, and it's a big deal for GameStop. You notice this is just a swing trade at this point, still close enough to that center line that if you just see one green bar, a sturdy green bar here, you can cross up this MACD, that RSI can get above the center line, and boom, swing trade signal confirmed, right? That's all that is at this point. It's a very, very simple trading strategy. If you want to get any of my stuff, it is down in the description for the courses. They're all 90% off. You only got a couple weeks left, so just get those while it lasts. Now, this is very important, but what is it looking like in the near price action? Well, the 2 hour here is looking like it may need to go make a stronger base. You see that 2 hour kind of leaking up towards that center line. If that curls down, hey, that would mean maybe we're going to create a stronger base with some kind of divergence, but that could just mean more downside. So just pay attention to that. And then if the 30-minute is going to help you out, well, then this thing is not going to allow that 2 hour to cross over. Maybe it continues to pull back for a brief moment and then curls back up into positive territory. That would be a good signal in the shorter time frames. But just note, the main thing to pay attention to is the daily scale. All right, now looking over at volatility, just real quick, we noticed that the 30-minute giving some stuff here, trying to make some signal to possibly base out. But then it fails, right? It fails right here. It curls back down. So as of right now, you're most likely going to see this continue to head down. Now you are up or down by more than 10%. So that means you have an 85% chance for a down day in the market and an update in volatility. So what we'd want to pay attention to is that 30-minute signal. We'll see if any divergences or anything like that, but that doesn't have to happen. It's 85% chance. If usually those 15% chances where it doesn't happen, right, where it doesn't do the down day and the SPY, is when you do see a short squeeze. So we'll pay attention to that going forward. But if we're going to see these things squeeze as that PCC has been high for a little bit of time, then we need to pay attention to that. A lot of people running to the put side very, very quickly. And now this is just crossing down. Now it's crossing down on a 4 hour. And the main signal to pay attention to here for the squeeze is if that daily can cross over. If that crosses over on Monday, though, we still have to pay attention because this is a major crash signal right here. So if we get that reaction down, maybe we see some kind of 30-minute divergence down at that level, that's when we'll pay attention. But if this is able to cross down on the MACD and we're able to close below that 200, we should not expect a ton of rug pulls unless we're seeing major rigged behavior. So I just want you to be aware of that. If you're thinking that something is going to crash down, well, then we're going to get a reaction probably from that 200 or that 50 on volatility on the daily scale. If you're thinking that we're going to squeeze, well, then we're probably going to break down below that 200, that 50 and head down towards 1212 one more time. That's the main thing to think about with volatility. So overall, thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you nothing but luck with your trades going forward. If you want to learn a little bit before the market opens on Monday, I have those courses in the description. I think that the technical indicators one, it's $100. It's 90% off right now. So get it while it lasts. This is my birthday month. That's why it is on sale throughout August. And then that is going to go away at the end of August, guys. We've had it on sale for a little bit this summer. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I think the main takeaway here is we're at a moment where we could see upside, but we still have to be aware of some downside that could form. So we have to just pay attention closely and make sure our timing is good on these things. If we go and make a stronger base, that's awesome. We just have to manage our trade and then look for that stronger base to form and then make a decision. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing. You guys are always great about that, and I look forward to streaming live with you guys all week. Let's get into it this week and let's have a good one, all right? Positive vibes, all right? Peace.